Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Drummer828. I've recently had a few successful videos experimenting with controllerism, and I've received a large amount of feedback from those videos. But there's one question that seems to pop up in my mailbox at least once a week. What do you like better? Launchpad or APC40? Alright, the Launchpad is a really cool piece of equipment. It goes for about $200, I believe, at least whenever I got it. Let's go over the advantages, the good things first. It's really small, it's very portable. There is no power outlet. It gets its electric current through the USB adapter, so there's only one plug that you have to worry about, and it plugs directly into your computer. I always like that. The other feature I really like about it is its huge grid. This is a lot of buttons to be able to access all at once without having to flip pages or scroll down or anything. It's all right there in front of you, and that's great. If you have something like a song or anything that you really want to get into button mashing or some really complex jumping between samples really fast, you have a really great chance to play around with all of those with this controller. Obviously, you see how big it is. You can lay out all kinds of stuff and have it right there at your fingertips. That's a really cool feature that I like. Okay, let's get into the bad things with the Novation Launchpad, the downfall. Upon getting this, I could not even use this for the first, 3 months that I owned this, because even though it was marketed, labeled with, Ableton logo all over the place on it, and it says just plug and play, it'll work with Ableton. When I first got it, it would not do that. In fact, Ableton did not recognize it as a MIDI controller at first. I had to upgrade to 8.1.4 in order to use this. So anything lower than 8.1.4 as far as your Ableton goes is not going to run this. As far as I know, I haven't seen anybody get it to run on anything lower than that. If I'm wrong, correct me. Another bad thing about it, this USB plug right here, I don't know if it's cheap hardware or whatever, but I really have not even put this thing through any stress tests or anything, but it has already started to become flaky. If you move the USB controller too much, it will cut out and lose power. That's like a big no-no. I can't be on stage and have this thing cut off on me in a live show, and then what am I supposed to do? And when it comes to controllers, reliability is a big issue. And another thing, if you go just do a little research, I experienced it myself. There are a lot of bugs with this thing, and to tell you the truth, I was really upset when I first bought this because I couldn't use it. Yeah, it was just a matter of updating my Ableton software, but for what it was advertised for, it didn't do what it said it would do, which is plug in and it'll automatically start going, and it didn't do that, and there were a lot of bugs even after I got it to work. Alright, the APC40. Let's go through the APC40. APC40, as you see, looks a little bit like the Launchpad, except for the fact that this was what kind of looked like the Launchpad, and then everything else is a little extra on here. Alright, the interface with the APC40 is really cool. It combines the grid pad along with a lot of knobs, sliders, and one fader. You have your play, stop, record button. There are a lot of functions on here that directly correlate to functions within Ableton. But I'll tell you, once I got this, I did not experience the same thing that I experienced with the Launchpad. I actually got the Launchpad first because it is cheaper. This is, I think, somewhere around $400. But the second I got it, I plugged it in. I set up the controller options on Ableton Live, and I've never, ever once had a problem using this thing. It programs just fine whenever you turn on the MIDI option for Ableton Live. You have cues, you got your master fader here, you have faders for each track that you have on your Ableton Live set. You can solo a track, you can just cut out a track. So the only downside I can really come up with for the APC40, it's really big, kind of clunky, but even that I can understand. And then on top of that, it does take USB to connect to your computer, but as well you have to have a power outlet to plug into. Also, the grid layout for your buttons up here, I keep having to scroll a lot when using it, because the grid layout really isn't that big. It's big enough, but I do like the Launchpad when it comes to the size of the grid layout. But other than that, APC40, there's no competition. If you're getting into Ableton Live or just controllerism in general, I'm telling you that this is one of the best controllers that you can buy. I've never had a problem with it. I've never had a bug issue with it. I never even really had too much difficulty getting it set up once I got it. It literally was plug and play. The options on here, I mean, honestly, once I got this makes using Ableton so much easier, and I can't recommend it enough. Between the two, I'll go ahead and answer the question now. Novation Launchpad versus APC40, there is no contest. I'm sorry, this is cool, but this is more than cool. This is a must-have. Just the fact that you have physical knobs that are already programmed to different features on Ableton, and then a whole set of knobs that are just open for you to program yourself, not to mention the sliders, you know, and it works easy too. But without a doubt, no contest when it comes to Novation Launchpad versus APC40. The APC40 takes it